Hi guys, today let's see the important frequently asked interview questions only in Java for both freshers and experienced. Before getting started, please do subscribe if you have not yet been subscribed to my channel. So let's quickly start. The first one here is what is marker interface. So some of the topics in Java, right? We will go through the topics, but whenever the interviewer asks, right? So just we can't able to recall it, so we have to make it some shortcuts to recall to remember whenever, right? When we are attending any interviews, so to make sure we should have some shortcuts. So before seeing the marker interface, we know about interface. What is interface in Java, right? To achieve mainly the abstraction in Java, we'll have this interface. And now what is marker interface? So a marker interface is an interface that doesn't have any methods or constants in it. So in the normal interface, we'll have the method, right? Without its implementation, obviously we will be having method. So here marker interface means we can say an empty interface. So it is saying it does not have any methods or constants also inside it. It provides runtime type information about objects. So the compiler and JVM have additional information about that particular object. A marker interface is also called as a tagging interface. So normal interface means we'll be having a method. Here marker interface means just we have to recall it's just an empty interface. So then what is the use? So we are not having anything inside that, right? Then why we are going for this marker interface? So it is actually providing us the runtime type information about objects. So in that case, the compiler and JVM have additional information about the object, and it is also called as the tagging interface. So examples are already having in Java itself, like serializable, clonable, and remote interface. So all these interfaces are nothing but empty interfaces. Those are marker interfaces. So how we'll declare public interface? So obviously interface will have with the keyword interface and serializable. Like if you want to know more about serializable, clonable, and remote interface, please let me know. And I'll also try to make the separate questions related to this. And here inside this, we don't have anything. So it is an example of the marker interface. So in the real-time applications, examples of marker interface are clonable interface. So it is actually already present in Java. Hope this clear. Going to the next one. Difference between throw and throws keywords. It is one of the most favorite and frequently asked question by any interviewer. So throw is a keyword. Both are keywords only, but what is the difference and where we'll use it mainly? Throw is a keyword which is used to throw an exception explicitly in the program inside a function or inside a block of code. What it is saying? So when we'll use the throw keyword, when we want to throw an exception in the program, like inside a particular method or some block of function, right? In such scenarios we'll use this throw keyword. And throws is also a keyword used in the method signature, used to declare an exception which might get thrown by the function while executing the code. So throw is a keyword we'll use inside the program. Like when we are using some particular method or some we are dealing with something like more important sensitive information, we'll have that try catch block, and in that we'll use this throw keyword. So throws when we use in the method signature itself. By we are declaring in the method signature itself, so it might get thrown by the function, by that particular function. Error or exception might like it will thrown while executing that particular code. So it will auto suggest. So if you are using the IDE, it will show whether to have the try catch block or directly to mention the throws option in the method signature itself. So for let's see the examples. So here the it is an example void my method try catch block. So throwing an arithmetic exception using throw. Here throwing. So catch. So here particularly in the try catch block we are expecting this exception, and we are throwing this exception here throw new arithmetic exception. So how we'll use the throws as we said, right? It will be having in the method signature. So see here void sample method throws arithmetic exception. Then only in the norm in that particular method we will be having statements based on our operation. So here itself will declare like this. So this is a throw and throws keyword in Java, and you can throw one exception at a time, but you can handle multiple exceptions by declaring them using throws keyword. So what it is saying, like if we are going to throw an exception, then we can do that only one at a time. But if you are declaring in the method signature, we can handle multiple exceptions. For example, see here, declaring multiple exceptions using throws keyword. So void sample method throws, we don't know, it will throw arithmetic exception or null pointer exception, IO exception. So based on our requirement, whatever we are dealing right in the particular method, so based on that we can declare all those exceptions. Means we can handle multiple exceptions by declaring in the throws keyword here. Then the statements whatever exceptions might occurring or not, we have to declare inside this particular block. So this is the one of the important question in Java, difference between throw and throws keyword, where it will use and how it will be using. So hope this clears. Going to the next one, difference between overloading and overriding with examples. So here method overloading and overriding concept is very important, and very frequently any interviewer will ask this question. So let's see, method overloading is used to increase the readability of the program. Method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation of the method that is already provided by its superclass. So overloading, when we want to read the program easily, like it will increase the readability of the program, whatever we are writing, the simple code or the complex code. Simple code means anyone can understand easily by seeing, but if you are having many classes, many methods, then we should take care of this readability also. If you are writing the code and someone is going to use in the future, means they should understand, they should able to read all the functionalities clearly. So method overloading is actually used to increase the readability of the program. Method overriding is actually used to provide the specific implementation of the particular method that is already provided by its superclass. Superclass is nothing but we can say base class or parent class. So in case of method overloading, parameter must be different. Means whatever argument list also we can say, right, or input list, parameters, all so all are same. So parameters must be different in the overloading, method overloading, and in the overriding concept, parameter must be same. Method overloading is performed within the class, whichever class we are going to use, right, in that only it will be having all those we have to perform. Method overloading, method overriding occurs in two classes that have is a relationship, means inheritance. So mainly it will occur like two or different classes when we are dealing with any relationship between the classes. Method overriding we can see. In Java, method overloading can be performed by changing return type of the method only. Return type can be same or different in method overloading, but you must have to change the parameter. So what it is saying, if you want to do method overloading in Java, so here it should not be performed by changing the return type of method only. So whatever method we are declaring, right? If you are going to change only the return type means we cannot overload that particular method. So return type can be same or different. It is not bothering about the return type here. Overloading is not bothering about return type. So return type can be same or different, but you must have to change the parameter, means argument list which we are mentioning, right? That we have to change. Return type must be same or covariant in method overriding. So opposite of this, return type, whatever we are returning, right, whether it is a object, string, or whatever, like integer, so that return type must be same in method overriding. Method overloading is the example of compile time polymorphism. So for the compile time polymorphism, method overloading is a example, and for runtime polymorphism, method overriding is a example. Hope compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism like already known to you. So these are the examples. Let's see the live examples. Example for the method overloading. So I just used one of the online like editor for the Java, like to see to run the program and to get the output. So for the class overloading example, I just have taken one method, static int add addition method with the two parameter list, and here again one more method here string. The data type is different, but the method name is different, add, and here the data means argument list, again the data type like I have mentioned here, right, string. So I'm giving passing the parameter list string and string, return a plus b. So here what I'm getting like printing. So if I'm passing like calling int add method, so int add method means the first method I am going to call with the two parameter list. So it is the integer, right? Whatever I declared, the output also should give me in the integer format only. So 1 comma 2 here, and here string add method I'm passing strings over here because it should return me the string data type, and it should accept only the string only. So what it will give for me, so this is a class overloading example. So I have calling int method addition of 1 comma 2, that is 3, and calling a string add method ab is nothing but it is just in the string means concatenating, right? So ab, it has given me the output. This is the example of method overloading. And let's see the next example for method overriding. So class overriding, here I have two classes, parent class and child class. So in this I have declared static class student, and in this one method I have, that is display message. Just I'm like a student details in the parent class, and here in the child class what I'm doing, like the class it is called as student, it is extending the parent class, that is student class, and here I'm just printing call as student details in child class. So in the main method, I am creating the object for the child class college student object equal to new college student. Here subclass overrides superclass method, hence method of college student class will be called. So we are creating this, right? Subclass is nothing but the child class which I am referring here, and I'm creating the object to this, and here I'm calling the object dot display message. So here it is overriding the parent class, and hence this college student class will be called, and it should give me the output of whatever I am mentioning here in this method, right? It should show me the output. So here overriding class name is overriding, and what is the output of this object dot display message? College student details in child class. So it is nothing but the child class details I'm overriding, and I'm getting the output. So here the method should be like the same, and we are overriding the child class by the parent class here. Hope this clears. So we should know, like we should remember what is the difference between overloading and overriding, like compiled polymorphism and runtime polymorphisms in Java. It is one of the most important question. Hope this one clears. So moving to the next one, what is transient keyword? So we have seen through and throws keyword, right? Let's see what is transient keyword in Java. A variable declared with transient keyword is called a transient variable. Wherever, like if you are declaring any variable, before variable, if you are declaring it with the transient, means that that particular variable is called as a transient variable. It actually used in the serialization process to provide flexibility for excluding some variables from the serialization process. So basically, like whenever we are doing right the serialization and deserialization process, like I assume that you people know serialization process and deserialization process. So mainly this keyword will use in the serialization process in order to to exclude some variables from that particular process. A variable declared with transient keyword will not be serialized. So we said, right, whichever variable we are declaring as transient means transient variable, and if we are declaring that particular variable with the transient means that will not be serialized. Transient is a variables modified used in serialization. At the time of serialization, if we don't want to save, when we actually use this transient keyword, where if we don't want to save value of particular variable in a file, then we use the transient keyword. So in the file we will be having large amount of data, right? Like for example, for any page we'll be having login credentials like username, password, any security question, etc. So in those all the variables, for example, if you are declaring the username variable name, id, and password. So here password is some case sensitive, right? So if you don't want to save that particular value, that particular variable in a file, so in those scenarios this transient keyword is actually useful. And when JVM comes across transient keyword, it ignores the original value of the variable and save default value of that variable data type only. So JVM, it understands like, okay, this is the transient keyword, so I should not copy, means I should not save its original value, regardless of it will save the default value of that a variable data type. And transient keyword plays an important role to meet security constraints. So as I mentioned one example, right, like password, if some sensitive information offers some security constraints, this is an important keyword. There are various real life examples where we don't want to save private data in file, obviously, right? Like a password we don't want to save, any security question, that also the first time it will ask, right, the answer to us, then it will save at that time. So These are the some like real time examples we can say. And how we'll do that. Mm, using the transient keyword in Java. So a sample like class that uses transient keyword to skip their serialization. A class transient example implements serializable here, making password transient for security purpose. Private transient string password. In this way, we'll declare this transient keyword. Making age transient as age is auto computable from DOB date of birth and current date. So this is also transient. Serialize other fields like username, like a date of birth. These can be like we can share the information right to any like website or um, any information for bank etc. We can obviously share our like Aadhaar ID, our name, etc. All those things. But password and some of the things will be uh, most private, right? So in these scenarios, transient keyword will be useful. This is the example for that. Hope this one clear. Moving to the next. What are final and finally keywords or differences we can say along with examples. So in Java, we have throw and throws. Mainly we have the keywords, right? Simply it will differentiate with one or two characters like throw and throws. Final, finally, and also we have one more keyword finalize also is there. I'll cover in the next part. For now, we'll see what are final and finally keywords in Java. So final, it will be in the lower case, which is a reserved keyword in Java. We can't use it as an identifier as it is a reserved. So actually it is reserved, we should not going to modify or alter to that, and we cannot also use as an identifier for that. We can use this keyword with variables, methods, and also with classes. So it is not declared as only we can use final to only methods, to only variables, or only to classes. No, it is not. It can be used to overall to classes we can declare, for methods we can have, and for variables also we can have based on our requirement. The final keyword in Java has a different meaning depending upon whether it is applied to a variable, class, or method. Means what it is saying, we said right, it can be applied to variables, methods, and also classes. But whenever it is applying like for variables, if it is we are declaring as final means to any variable, it will do certain operations, some rules will be there. Same for class and methods also. So we'll see final with variables, how it is behaving. The value of the variable cannot be changed once initialized. Whenever we initialize, right, if a value it is final means we are not able to we can't alter, means we cannot modify it further once it has been initialized. No, and here note is, if we modify it then we get the compile time error. So by declaring this, for example we'll see class final variable sample public static. So final variable final we are declaring with the keyword final and int a equal to 1, and I'm declaring one more variable which is a non-final one, int b equal to 2. Modifying the non-final variable means it is a non-final variable means b plus plus, just I'm increasing it, it is allowed to me. And when I'm trying to modify the final variable which I declare with the final keyword, immediately it will give the compile time error for me. See here, when I'm trying to modify the non-final variable, the color is changed and it is not changing for me. The final variable means it is giving me the compile time error. So when we don't know, like by mistakenly also, if you are trying to modify the final variable, then and there it will give us the compile time error for us. So this is a case for the final keyword with variables. Let's see the next one. final keyword with class. The class cannot be subclassed. Means whenever we declare any class as final, means for example, we are declaring this class final sample with the final keyword, means this class is a final one, or means what it mean, that we cannot extend that class. Means if we want this class to be extended for any other like functionality or any other feature, if we want to add in the enhancement, so it will not allow to us because the final we have declared the class as a final one, or the class cannot be extended, or we cannot make a subclass of that class, and also subclass also we cannot create. So here if I want to extend this final class, it will give me error here, compile time error, that we can't extend final sample class as it is final. So whatever write with the class, if you are declaring any class with the final keyword, the class totally is a final. We cannot create any subclass of that, and we cannot extend that particular class. Hope this one understand. So going to the next one, final keyword with method. So we have seen final keyword with the variable how it is behaving, and the with the class. Now we'll see with the method. The method cannot be overridden by a subclass. Whenever we declare any method as final, then it means that we cannot override that method. Means if you are for example, with the example we'll like easily get that one. Let's see the example class final method example final. So this method, inside this class I am having this void sample method which I have declared as a final, means this is a final method. And in the main method I have for example class sample one extends. If I want to extend this one, the final method example, here we get the compile time error since can't extend the sample since it is final. So this method we cannot able to extend to the another class because it is declared as a final. So with the method, what it is saying, whenever we declare any method as a final, then it means that we cannot override that method in the next class. So note, if a class is declared as final by default, means in the last example we have seen right how to declare class as a final, then by default all of the methods present in that class are automatically final. Okay, so if you are not going to declare like this is a method, right, final I have declared, but here class is not final. So here what the note is saying, if I declare this class, for example, if I declare this class as final, then by default whatever method it is having, right, this will also be automatically final. No need of declaring. If we declare class itself as final, then inside that methods will be final. But the variables are not. The variables inside, if we declare anything inside this methods, inside this class, right, that will not be final. Only the whatever like all the methods in that particular class will be final if we declare the class with the final keyword. Hope this one clear. Moving to the next one. So finally, so final keyword we have seen, it is nothing but like a constant which cannot be altered or modified, and how it will behave with the variable and at the method level and the class level. And one important note also we have seen related to the final keyword. And what is finally then, like um, final is a reserved keyword. So in the same way finally is also a reserved keyword in Java. That is, we cannot use as an identifier. So both final and finally are the reserved keywords in Java. So we cannot use them as an identifier. The finally keyword is used in association with a try catch block and guarantees that a section of code will be executed even if an exception is thrown. So we have to remember finally means like every time it will be combined with a try catch block. This we have to remember. And like it will guarantee that whenever like we are making that finally keyword in the try catch block, right, so it will execute regardless of whether the exception is thrown in the try catch block or it is the exception is not thrown in the try catch block. So whatever the condition may be, but the finally section particular section will declare, right, that it will get executed. The final block will be executed after the try and catch blocks. So it is the combination of the try catch block and it will be executed after the try and catch blocks, but before control transfers back to its origin. Finally is executed even if try block has a return statement. So for this one clear, let's see one of the example. So finally example, just in the main method we have one variable. In the try catch block we are having, so we said, right, it is nothing but the association with the try catch block. So try catch block we are having, in this try block we are having j equal to I by 2. I also I am providing as 2 value here, means 2 by 2 it will take. So catch, if it is not executing, then it will catch the arithmetic exception e, and dividing, and also it will print us in catch block dividing by 0 but got something like that. So in the finally block what I am doing here, just printing some message executes whether exception occurs or not. So whether the input is correct and it is working properly, that is the one case, and the other case is it is not working properly, the condition which we have given failed and it is throwing the exception, means here catching the exception. So whatever the condition may be, but the finally block should execute for us. That is a job of the finally keyword in Java. So here finally sample, first it has printed me in try catch in try block, that is a in try section only it is printed for me. If it has thrown exception for me, then it will go to the catch block. So it doesn't actually it did not go to this one, and it after this try catch block. And one more point what we have seen here, the final block will execute after the try catch block only. So after this execution, it went to the finally block and printed me this statement: executes whether exception occurs or not. This is the case. So here I have mentioned only one example, like as I mentioned, right. So finally execute with the exception, like if it is try catch block throwing the exception and it is not throwing the exception. These are some of the scenarios are there to cover. So now just I have covered this simple example, and let's see the next one. Finally note here. So what is a note here? There is only one situation. So we said, right, like finally will always get executed after the try catch block is executed, but one scenario is there where the finally block will not execute. So when it was happening, when we are using system.exit of 0 method, when we are using this method, then JVM itself it will get shut down. Hence this in this case finally block won't be executed. Here the number we are mentioning, right, exit of 0, the number is a status code, we can say, is also known as the status code. Instead of 0 we can take any integer value, where 0 means normal termination and non-zero means abnormal termination. Here whether it is 0 or non-zero, in this there is no change in the result and the effect is the same with respect to the program. So finally we have finally keyword, we have to remember this note. So there is only one case where this finally block will not be executed when we mention this one. So if you see example, finally not execute class. So here in the try block, I'm giving system.exit of 0 and catch finally. So here what it is printing for me, try block only. So the finally block is not executed for me because we have mentioned to shut down, means system.exit of 0 means JVM itself will shut down that one, and the final block won't be executed. So this is a main and one of the important question related to finally. So mostly ask question like what will happen if you are giving system.exit of 0 in the final in the try catch block, something like the interviewer will ask. So we should remember this concept here. And yeah, so hope this clear all these questions. So time is running out, we'll see in the next part of the Java questions. Hope this video like understands like clear some of the basic and important questions related to Java. And happy learning. Thank you. Please do subscribe. Bye.